Listen, every NPC in Terraria serves its own purpose, although let's be honest, some more than others. But there is one NPC that I think is the best dressed, and we're going to build him his very own home. Hey Terraria fans, welcome back to another speed build video. Guys, in this one we're going to be making a very lovely home, or I guess resort, for the best dressed NPC in the entire game, and that is going to be the golfer. And listen, there's no arguing that he is in fact the best dressed. The man's wearing slacks and a little hat, alright? What else do you want? But before we dive into the build, guys, I want to quickly address the elephant in the room, which is, well, this room, which is actually devoid of anything, including elephants. But the point stands, we are in fact in my new office, guys. We moved not too long ago, finally got everything set up, and now have the face cam up and going. So if you're noticing a bit of a difference in background and also in terms of microphone quality and maybe some echoing and other kinds of things, well, it's the main reason why. But anyways, the point is you will be seeing a lot more of this background, which will eventually have a couple of other items, like a couple fun lights maybe, and I don't know, a shelf to put things on, you know, the basics. But anyways, getting back to the topic on hand, guys, this build for the golfer NPC was a lot of fun to put together. I was going for this really stately country club type feel, and I think we achieved that, but there's also some really nice details. The one in particular that I really like is a centerpiece right at the bottom made of glass. It looks really awesome, is a nice feature, and I think really brings this build a bit more to life, so something to keep an eye out for if you're going to make some future builds. Now, speaking of future builds, guys, if you ever do want to catch me making any of these builds live, guys, in, well, the future, you can do so on Twitch. The link is down below. And of course, guys, if you are enjoying any of the content here on YouTube, please feel free to hit the like, the subscribe, or the little, you know, dinner bell thingy, so you can know when the next video hits the old YouTube universe. Anyways, with all that said, guys, let's just get into the build, shall we? All right, so with the home or mansion, I guess, done for the golfer NPC, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cover all of the materials like I promised at the beginning of this video. All right, so with the home or mansion, I guess, done for the golfer NPC, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cover all of the materials like I promised at the beginning of this video. Now, you can see that we have two chests because, unsurprisingly, we have a lot of materials involved in this build as well as a number of paints. So just for a quick snapshot, guys, if you want to pause here and take a closer look, this is all the blocks, materials, walls, etc. that I did use. And on the right side, I encourage you to do the same thing if you want to take a closer look at the paints, although frankly, we only actually used 8 here, so it's not too complicated. Now, since we already have this chest open, I'm going to quickly cover the paints, which again are nothing too special in my opinion. We use some deep orange, which maybe I don't use all that often, but in this build looks pretty nice, as well as some orange paint. This is actually mainly for some of the wood to brighten it up and make it look a little bit different. Then we use some brown paint, some deep green paint, some gray, some white, some deep sky blue, which of course is for all the roofing and all that nice kind of contrast and color, and some deep lime paint as well. So nothing too crazy here. Again, I think like most paint jobs, you can pretty much replace or move anything around as you like. I think these ones work pretty well. I think a red roof might look decent as well, or even a brown one, but I want to go with something a little bit more vibrant, and so we went with the deep sky blue paint, and overall, I think it looks pretty nice. So with the paints covered, let's go ahead and move to the actual blocks and walls. And there's a lot going on here, but it's not quite as complicated as you might think. So I'm going to start with the walls where I have 2 palladium columns because I guess I thought they were important, but those are something that we used throughout the build. We also used some crimstone brick wall, some red stucco, some boreal, and a couple of different fences, including pearl wood, some boreal, and some rich mahogany fences. Now, these blocks on their own actually create a pretty good foundation for this build, but so does the ebon stone with elements of glass, which I think are really important in the design, like that front little kind of seating restaurant area. And then we also used a couple of different walls that I don't always add in combination, and certainly this is probably an attempt to maybe use these a bit more, I guess, frequently. So I went with the Christmas tree wallpaper, the purple rain wallpaper, and the Grinch finger wallpaper. Now, you could probably be able to pick these out throughout the build, but I never really find I use all of these together. I might use 1, maybe 2, but certainly not 3. So it's kind of nice to be able to use them and actually have the build feel fairly cohesive. Something that's worth trying, guys. Feel free to experiment both with the wallpapers or wall types, and make sure to experiment with different colors, because that is what makes this build and elements of the design with the wallpaper actually work, in my opinion. Now, beyond that, I did also use a little bit of bamboo wall and some obsidian wall. Now, the obsidian wall is for the roofing. I actually really like this wall for roofing. It's not one that I think a lot of people use. It just feels like a sort of bigger shingle, which I do think looks pretty nice here. You could also have used a copper brick wall. I think that looks pretty solid as well. But in general, this one is a different feel that I'm particular to, especially when you give it a nice vibrant color. Anyways, moving off from the walls, guys, as you can see with our actual blocks, we don't have anything too special. I mean, the pearl wood is totally fine in this build, along with the wood and the boreal wood. It's only 3 wood types along with a boreal beam, I suppose, that make up the majority of this build. So it's pretty straightforward when it comes to that side, but you have to, of course, add texture, and that's where our gray brick, our ebon stone brick, and our crimstone brick come in, and a couple of accents from our stone slab. So again, altogether, it's not too complicated. We added this in the right spots, in my opinion, to really give it a nice feel. We then added, for some more detail and texture, some yellow team block, as well as some marble columns. And there's also a little patch of asphalt off to the side, which I think looks pretty nice for the sort of driving or putting or chipping range, or really whatever club you decide to use. So again, not too many blocks, nothing too fancy or special, but overall these combinations for this design I think really work quite nicely. But again, feel free to swap any of these out as you see fit. It is part of the creative process. I'm just giving you a quick sneak peek into how I went about making this build. And there you go, guys. There are the materials for this build covered. I do hope that gives you some more insight into the design choices and the thinking that goes behind these builds. And, you know, like I said, if you want to make a carbon copy, please feel free to use the exact same materials or just switch things out. It's really completely up to you. Anyways, with all that said, guys, let's move on with the rest of the video. All right, guys, so there you go. There is our golfer NPC home done. I'm really happy with this one. I think it has that right feel of kind of like an estate with a manor and with a country club all mixed into one. My favorite feature, like I said at the beginning of this video, is definitely that glass at the bottom. It's kind of like an exterior sitting room that you kind of see in these country clubs, I guess. I think it's really nice. It's a cool feature and something I want to try to, include maybe in some future builds down the road. I'm also pretty happy with how the center columns turned out to support the main roof. It just has a nice little bit of detail, and I think the roof itself actually also looks pretty good. It's nothing too crazy, but it just flows well, it's symmetrical, and for the most part just has the right feel without being too distracting. But of course guys, that's just my opinion, so let me know what you guys think of this build in the comments down below. What did you like, maybe what you change, and maybe some ideas for a future build as well, because as you guys know, I'm always open to suggestions, and I might even pick yours out of the lot to see which thing is built next. And that's it. So guys, thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. And as always, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. We will see you in the next one.